Thanks for tuning into this video. This is going to be an update on the COVID ECP refund arbitration claims that we've been filing on behalf of clients like you. So recall that you retained us as much as 2 years ago. I don't remember the exact date for you, but it's been a while, right? We've been litigating these cases in arbitration against Airbnb on behalf of hosts like you for the last 2+ years. Airbnb has put up an incredible fight to try and delay these cases, obstruct discovery, and try and avoid hearings on these cases. We have tried approximately 80 cases for hosts like you inside and outside the United States. So we have now concluded almost all of these cases. We're ready to file your arbitration demand. So here's the update. So even though Airbnb fought the initial filings on behalf of our other clients like you hard and long, at the end of the day, we have won more than enough cases to continue the fight and file your case. And recall, these are on a contingency fee, so we wouldn't be filing them if we didn't think that we can win. And we've received substantial awards in other COVID refund cases for hosts like you. Here is the important information. We think that Airbnb could consider settlement with the new cases we are filing for several reasons. Number one, we're winning cases. Arbitrators are ruling against Airbnb. Not in all cases. There is a variable. Each case gets a distinct arbitrator, and therefore arbitrator is a factor. However, we're winning cases. We're winning more than enough cases to continue forward, to make it make sense for us, and we believe for you. So the further we get away from COVID, the more arbitrators are ruling in our favor. So the trend line is in our favor moving forward. I want to just show you a couple of the awards that we've received in some of these cases and some of the things that the arbitrators have said in their rulings, ruling in favor of hosts like you. So you might recall ECP, extenuating circumstances policy. This is one of the early cases, and the arbitrator says, a change or replacement of words in the ECP would necessarily result in those same changes or replacements applying to the terms of service. But what is important is that before Airbnb does that, claimant must have notice of the wording changes. This is where Section 3 of the terms of service must be considered. Under Section 3, modification of the terms must be preceded by notification by email for 30 days. No notification was given prior to Airbnb secretly changing the word endemic to pandemic or epidemic. So Airbnb wasn't entitled to change the extenuating circumstances policy to cover COVID without having given you 30 days notice and getting your assent, which they admit they did not do. Here's another arbitrator. This arbitrator finds that the early versions of the ECP, and hence what the claimant agreed that a guest could get a penalty-free cancellation for, did not include illness from a pandemic or epidemic. So this arbitrator is concluding the same thing, that epidemics were not an excuse for Airbnb to provide a refund which violated your strict cancellation policy. This arbitrator is convinced that the wordplay changing here from endemic to epidemic was not a proofreading error or typo, as was argued early by respondents, Airbnb. A review of all early versions of the ECP, which were not provided until the hearing, clearly showed that ECP was originally designed to cover endemic disease and endemic illness in unexpected locations, and was never drafted or intended to cover pandemics or epidemics. So you can see these are examples of the rulings that we've received from arbitrators saying that you win. We also now know exactly what Airbnb is going to argue, what the documents show, and how to respond. So strategically, we've really dialed in these cases over the last 2.5 years because we've been able to see how Airbnb defends these when we get in front of an arbitrator at a final hearing. The fourth reason that's really important as to why we really think that Airbnb at some point is going to have to fold its tent, go home, and settle these cases is because AAA just recently changed its rules. So AAA is the American Arbitration Association. Under the terms of service, you have to file your arbitration with AAA, with the American Arbitration Association. AAA assigns an arbitrator, and we go through the AAA process as your dispute resolution process. AAA recently changed its rules to allow us to file your cases at the same time as other Airbnb hosts. And the new rules will bundle those cases together and streamline the process. So Airbnb's efforts to try and delay these cases just got a lot harder. It'll be much more difficult for Airbnb to delay these cases moving forward, which means that we think these cases are going to go faster with these next batches, and we just filed a group of 114 new cases last month. We're getting ready to file the next round of cases, which will be bundled together with those 114. We want yours to be one of those cases. So we're restarting the process here, bringing you up to date, getting you involved, and getting some final information we need in order to move your case forward. If they don't settle, then we're prepared to take your case all the way to hearing like we have these other cases and ask the arbitrator to rule in your favor, as arbitrators have done in other cases, which would be this. So if an arbitrator rules in your favor, what they essentially rule is that Airbnb has to pay you your full payouts under your strict cancellation policy despite COVID. So in each instance where Airbnb provided a refund to your guest in violation of your strict cancellation policy during the COVID period, arbitrators can award all of those additional payouts to you under your cancellation policy. So that's what we can get from an arbitrator if Airbnb doesn't settle and we go all the way to a hearing in your case. So we need to begin working with you again to get some more information. One thing that we need, which is going to make things go a lot faster, which AAA is now requiring, is the city of residence for you. Where you lived in March 2020 at the time that COVID hit. So if you've moved since, that doesn't matter. Where did you live in March 2020? What is the city of residence? We need to add that to the demand. Now, I think you have provided us a spreadsheet with confirmation numbers. If not, I'll be circling back with you. But I'm attaching to this email if you have. If you have not, then I'm going to say so in this email. But we need the confirmation numbers of at least some, if not all, of the reservations which are at issue in this case. That is, reservations where Airbnb refunded your guests despite your strict cancellation policy. If you don't have access to the platform, or you didn't get a spreadsheet at the time, you can do a search of your inbox for all emails from Airbnb, which include the words COVID and extenuating circumstances policy. And that'll pull up the confirmation numbers of all the at-issue reservations. So if you have any questions, please email me back. I'm trying to avoid as many phone calls as possible since I have so many people that I'm working with like you. But if you do need to talk to me, of course, let me know in the email and we'll set up a call. Other than that, let's just move forward. Let's go get you some compensation. Let's fight back against Airbnb. I can tell you there's been no instance of retaliation by Airbnb as a result of filing these claims. The hosts who have won their claims continue forward with Airbnb just as before, so you don't have to worry about that. We continue to think that it's important, as we discussed early in your case, that hosts stand up together, that hosts stand up to Airbnb, that you access the dispute resolution process that they invite you to access if there's a dispute between you and Airbnb, and give them the opportunity to settle your case or allow us to go ahead and try your case at a final hearing on your behalf in order to get this dispute resolved. All right, if you have any questions, email me back. Otherwise, send me an email with the city of residence as of March 2020. And if I'm not attaching a spreadsheet to this email with confirmation numbers, you need to get me confirmation numbers for the at-issue reservations so that we can provide those to the arbitrator upon our initial filing of your demand. Last thing I need to share is recall the Gibbs Law Group, Josh Bloomfield, Michael Schrag, and some others at the Gibbs Law Group have been helping us with these cases. So we brought them in because there are so many cases, and they're providing resources and litigating these cases with us. So you might see some emails from Class Law Group or from the Gibbs Law Group, or work with paralegals from the Gibbs Law Group. That is us. You also retained Gibbs Law Group when you retained us in this case.